right, welcome back to another Recent Reels. This time we have Wes Anderson's latest and greatest, French Dispatch.
Hell yeah.
What'd you guys think?
Well, everybody gives Wes Anderson shit for making the same type of movie, but I would too if I made as great a movie as he makes. Like, I can't fault anything that he does. So
it works. I mean, you could say that about a lot of directors. They have a style, and that's his style. So what if it's? I think quirky is a bad word for it, but like, if that's what you want to call it, sure, fine. But it works, all right, and it's good, and it has emotion in it. Some of them.
Yes, but everyone's saying it's all cold and you don't feel anything. It's like, then you're not investing yourself.
Right.
You're looking at it at face value then.
Right. And like walking out of it, one of the people I went with, she's like, how is that under a romance? I'm like, you kidding me? Did you not see the first one? Yeah. I mean, the second one?
Every story.
The third one?
All elements
mean,
of it.
It's all a love story in some fashion. It's not the typical, what is it? Rom-communism that Ted Lasso talks about, but it's its own type of love story. I mean, the first little clip or whatever, what do you call it, episode?
The first story?
The first story. Yeah. That was...
With Benicio del Toro.
That was great.
Yeah.
I love that. That's when I was like, okay, this is going to be a game changer.
So much fun, dude. Yeah.
It's, good mix of comedy, good mix of emotion, good mix of actual, like, I don't know, good storytelling of, I don't know, I guess the torture that he's in, but at the same time he's an artist, so he's a different type of tortured artist, but he's in love and can't have that forbidden love, he's a convict.
It's like the perfect elements to set up like the tortured artist where in his current situation, it
was great. But
I don't know, did you guys have like a favorite out of the stories, would you say, or are they all just like so good that they're just
the first one and maybe the last one are my favorite?
They're all unique, obviously, and they all got their own vibe. The first one it just has something special. I think it encapsulates like the French of the whole story too, a little more with like the impressionistic painting and like the nudity or whatever that you're trying to see out of the painting.
Did you guys see her in the painting?
I did. I saw I think that the art design, whoever does like production design on Wes Anderson's films deserves like almost as much credit as Wes Anderson because they do so much with so little. But whoever did the paintings, I think they did a good job of
I agree,
putting the seeds there for you to be able to see it. Yeah, it was good
for sure.
But I thought this was one of his funniest movies, dude. This was hilarious.
Yeah,
I had a great time.
It was just like joke after joke. Like, I don't know, it was just fun after fun.
Yeah.
Like, you would laugh and then you'd laugh again because like the joke would just continue.
Right.
Like,
especially that last one when like the animated sequence happens and you got the guy riding the car and he flies through the window and then he hops back out. Hops back on the car.
Dude, going through a huge chase and then just perfectly end up where they were.
It was awesome. But I agree. It was super funny. I laughed a lot in this movie.
It's just great like visual language and storytelling.
Edward Norton like doing the over-exaggerated tiptoe once he lands
the ballet shoes.
Yeah. And like the pacing of his movies, it's like it's trying to bring out the fun of the story and the characters. Like it's all there to make you like if you just care and want to have a little fun, you'll laugh, you'll like giggle, you'll find the fun of it. I feel like
I agree. And I think who was it? I liked Edward Norton. He was a standout, but I think Adrian Brody.
Yeah, man.
He was funny, dude.
Was awesome. I don't know. He made me laugh a lot.
He played up that kind of like sleazy art pusher role so well.
The first meeting with him and Del Toro, he's like, I can't write you a check or anything, but I'll give you what I have on me. It's like 2 cigarettes, candy. And then you see the guard outside the door and you just hear the little sound design munching of like you gave him like the 3 chocolates to get in there.
When he's going into his appeal or whatever, where he's trying to get on probation or off, and he goes up and talks for him and he's like, yeah, no, he's never getting this again. He's stuck in prison forever. And he's like, all right.
No further questions.
That was a lot of fun. Adrian Brody was awesome. I think Wes Anderson uses him to his potential.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he's got a zany vibe that he was carrying in this one too.
That was fun.
I got some Buster Scruggs vibes too. I wonder if Anderson watched that and was like, maybe I could do something like that. Like
something about like the anthologies that it's like appealing because I mean, for me recently, I've been thinking like I have all these little short story ideas and I want to write short stories, but I'm like, but I like the idea of making them into movies too. So it's like anthologies, like even a TV series, 30-minute anthologies.
Yeah.
like, why aren't more of those being made?
I totally agree, because there's like something awesome about like the stories themselves,
right?
And if you put them together, just like as an overarching like
kind of thematically
right.
together, and
right. I think that's why aren't more like that being made. And I think
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of the gripes that I saw online were like they hard to follow and things like that of the French Dispatch. I'm like,
it moved quick. I will say
it did move quick. And there's,
Yeah.
I think that's rewatchings will be rewarded
for sure,
because you'll see all the stuff that happens in the background because nothing is not moving. And,
at some point, there's literally 2 images on the screen that you that you have to see it twice to just even look at both images.
Yeah, so appreciate everything that's happening. You know, so all the detail that's put into every scene. And,
I think the anthology really serves Wes Anderson too. Like it's like just enough to get his like zaniness, all the story he wants to tell across, without like stretching it too far to be like, I'm tired of this fucking shit. You know, like I think I like Moonrise Kingdom, but when I think back on the movie, it's like the same thing kind of happening the whole movie. Whereas like this stuff, it's like you're in, you get all the fun shit, you get all that stuff, and it's out before you're tired of it. You know, like on to the next one. Like,
it doesn't draw the story out or like push the characters to a point where they're not believable anymore.
Or you just don't want to follow them anymore, kind of.
I don't know. I think it was my favorite that he's done so far. I haven't seen all of his stuff. But
I've seen most.
I started watching Rushmore, but then I stopped because it was late. But that's the only one I haven't seen. But this is my number one.
Really?
Nice. Yeah. It's hard because Life Aquatic, I don't know, that has a special place in my heart. But
that and Rushmore are the only 2 I think I haven't seen. Is that and Bottle Rocket.
I haven't seen Rushmore or Bottle
That's
Rocket.
one of his first ones, right?
Yeah, the first 2. Yeah. But I don't think he's getting worse, because like to me back to the anthology stuff, it like mirrored the French Dispatch magazine element that he set the whole structure in with the movie. So like each story is like the story of the magazine, which I thought was super smart to do. Like it told you the page numbers and then
how long it was going to be.
Yeah, and you're like, okay, I'm in for this amount. And then each one was narrated by that like respective writer, and the style for how they narrated was different for each one.
That was cool. It was like the personalities of the writers coming into the stories, and then getting the personality of the story themselves.
And then like Frances McDormand's character is more like, this is my idea, this is it. Like she's jotting down notes. Whereas like the other people are kind of like giving it their own way of telling it, which is like, I don't know, it's just smart. It's just like he's diving into each story in its own unique way, and it's just does it justice, I think.
I thought that one was really funny. That Frances McDormand and Timothy Chalamet. That one was pretty good.
When he hopped out of the tub to give him a notepad and he's holding his jug.
That's so good. Sad ending, but pretty good.
Yeah, bittersweet.
Yeah, it doesn't like linger on it though. It's just like
just happens.
That's the end of the story.
Optimism.
One of the best shots was when they were on the motorcycle or moped or whatever it was, and they're
beautiful,
driving up.
Dude.
And it's just that slow mo. I was like, God damn, that's awesome.
Yeah, beautiful shot. That was one of my favorite moments, I think.
Yeah,
same. And one of the moments that made me laugh the most was when Owen Wilson at the beginning talking about the church boys drunk on the blood of Christ.
Dude, that made me laugh so hard. That kind of kicked it off. I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna.
That was like the perfect story to ease into everything.
Yeah, so funny.
Get the taste of it all.
And they like chase him down.
They like beat that. They're like barely hitting the old woman. She's like crossing.
Awesome.
I wrote down just like some of the, because obviously every shot in this is beautifully composed and everything's great, but I just wrote down some of my favorite moments, kind of, or like where I thought Anderson brought out a little more. Like the opening scene where like the city comes alive, like the water comes out the drain, and then like you see the dog run, the woman like hitting the carpet or whatever,
people on bikes, like
it's just like a feast for the eyes, and you're just like, oh man, I'm behind the vision that I'm being told. Like I was just ready at that point.
So
kinda.
Beautifully like composed that it just like I think he's just a genius at like knowing where he wants your eye to go, and knowing where your eye naturally wants to go. Because it's just like you're just like ready to take it all in, and like
and then making sure it's all perfectly packaged for your eye and your mind.
And at the same time, there's stuff going on everywhere, so it's like you can I don't know, there's a lot to appreciate,
there's
a lot
so
to take
That's
in.
What, back to your point of like being rewarding rewatching it. This one like this one
for
definitely
sure
fits that.
And the other moment was the moped ride or whatever. And I noticed the second watch that the shot of his parents in the car where they're like really sad in the back, it mirrors that shot because there's like muted lights coming past their faces and stuff. After I was like, oh, that's a smart touch. But that was nice. Another one, the scene where Del Toro and his like younger self switch.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was like, this is that was great. Just
That
like
was
the
a clever
tiny
transition.
subtle touches they gave to
Yeah.
each other were so well thought out and like gave all the meaning. And
Yeah.
I really like that part.
Yeah, no, that was really good. And they nodded to each other, like, all right.
Yeah.
So
Like gives him a little
now.
pat,
Yeah.
and like where he needs it. Yeah.
I will say too, that end of that chef one, that one like just like
Sealed
cherry
it.
on top, like it just stuck with me.
Yeah.
Because of the chef like eating poison and then being like, I've never, like it's spicy, it's cool, like
that's to me that's like the climactic payoff, the emotional payoff of the entire movie is that.
Yeah.
And it's just so smart that like he threw it away. Like I don't think it's the best part. And then like they go out and read it. It's clearly like the most compelling and emotional part.
Right.
And it's fucking hilarious too, because the chef's like, it was kind of like earthy, extremely poisonous. but something I've never tasted before. And like that's why it's amazing. And that was great. That landed for me at the end too.
Yeah. All in all, highly would recommend seeing this film, maybe
Honestly,
more than a few times.
I
It's just so
want to see it
good.
again. I've never seen it twice.
I definitely want to rewatch just to see all those little nuggets that are playing out and stuff. And yeah, I could watch that first story though over and over again.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
I don't know, something about it. The relationship they have and everything. Like you kind of get it when he goes up to her and he's like touching her and painting her belly. And she's like, shh. And, like shoos him away,
like hissing at him. And
I was like, "What's going on here?"
And he's like growling all the time.
Yeah. But yeah,
the way that evolved in that first few moments, and then like he puts on the chains, or she puts on the police outfit, and then chains him up. And you're like, "What the fuck?"
Yep.
That's good stuff. Did you guys like the use of like black and white and the color elements?
I think so. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think it played really well.
It seems recently, like I saw this advertisement for Belfast. I don't know if you guys saw.
I want to see that.
Right?
I do. That and Come On, Come On. I really want to see that one.
Okay.
With Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah. And I feel like, I don't know, something about black and white's coming back or something. I don't know.
Back in style, baby.
I mean, it can be good. Like, for instance, The Lighthouse. It doesn't distract from the story, the characters. Anyway, it's perfect on its own. Yeah. But like, same with this. I think it aided in terms of like when it was emotional and stuff. Yeah. It was like, okay, this is good.
Totally.
It adds to it rather than takes away.
For sure.
Yeah.
When the color came in, I found my own meaning in every single time he did it, which was nice, and it landed for almost every time, I think.
Yeah.
So. And then I'm just thinking now that the black and white, maybe he's trying to mirror like the words, like black and white writing, and then like the pictures, or like the color is like the pictures in the magazine or something. Maybe like
I can see that, like the moped ride up the hill and everything.
Yeah,
how that's no dialogue, just riding up.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah,
what an awesome shot.
Yeah, I think he's just like, I think he might just be fucking genius, guys. I
mean, that's what I'm saying. He's a great filmmaker.
He is.
Like the way he makes his films are fantastic.
I actually, going back through my ratings, I didn't realize how almost all his movies are either 4 or higher in my rating. Right. So it's like, wow, I guess I do really like this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like he's growing on me more than I originally liked him too, which is kind of not what I expected. But
right, yeah.
Yeah, and I just want to say, like, one thing that stood out to me, just as far as like structure or like writing and stuff like that, I thought he took a unique take on each different story. The way he told the story with the characters was like outside, like with Tilda Swinton, she's given the presentation on the stage, and it's like past whatever she knows what happens already with everything, but we don't yet. And then in the Timothée Chalamet story, it has that like little stage play. Where like it tells you what happened with the soldier.
Yeah.
It hops out the window.
Yeah. And did you notice Obisanya? Yeah. And then Jeffrey Wright's like retelling it word for word on the talk show or whatever. I like, it made me think as a writer, like you don't have to tell your story in the like one like time it will take place. You can jump years later and tell it outside the story and come back to it, and if it's compelling or if you want to tell it in that unique way. That was just I just like appreciated his take on how he was going about giving us the story too. It was pretty cool.
And everyone had their own style, of writing, so it's like, I don't know, played off to their thing.
And like whatever they did later in life, he covered that too, kind of.
Played to the strength of the anthology like tenfold. I feel like
one like, I guess not great, because like the writing room characters, I would like to have seen a little more of them, maybe.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But just enough, like the dude that has never written anything in 30 years, but just sits there.
Like reading a book.
He's just in the back of shops.
And just like,
it's so fucking good. He's just eating something.
haunting the halls.
Right. I thought Bill Murray did a decent job. It's kind of just he's there for Wes Anderson's movie.
Bill Murray.
Yeah.
A lot of people that Wes Anderson has utilized before.
Owen Wilson, I liked him in it.
Yeah.
And I think the moment at the end like just totally landed for me, where it's like they're writing his eulogy together. Yeah. It's all the characters we know now are together, and then it's like, okay, well, what next? And then it just cuts outside the room, and they're all kind of like arguing or whatever they would like write it. And this movie's like a love letter to writers too, and that's why it totally lands for me, obviously. But
no, I agree.
Might be my favorite too, honestly. Like
I think it is for me.
I like the Grand Budapest, but I think this one is just a little smarter, honestly, or like a little more focused, kind of.
Yeah,
maybe.
I walked out and gave it 5. Like I was just like,
I feel you.
It's so good, it's too good. But I would encourage anybody to like look into Wes Anderson if you don't know him, or because like you were saying at the beginning, it's he can be kind of like divisive. I feel like people either love him or hate him.
Right.
But even just push the inclination to love because he's
good. Even this movie, I feel like is kind of divisive. Some people love it or hate it.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot. Like I saw a lot of heat on it. I'm like, really? I don't understand because like I don't know. Like Life Aquatic, I knew immediately when it was over like 5 stars. Like this, and this one I walked out, I was like, that's 5 stars. Like that was just almost perfect.
I gave it 4.5, and I like almost I've moved it up almost to 5 like many times. So eventually, probably I'll just be like, yeah, it's 5. It's right there. It's fucking good. I think so.
It is.
I'm excited. Life Aquatic's been one that I've been like super excited to see. So I'm excited
that's where his like zaniness kind of kicked in. I feel.
Yeah, and a lot of people might think that one's his weakest, but shit, I don't know. It's something about it. It's great. Yeah. I loved it. But actually, I was shocked. I was listening to the Ringer podcast, and one of them was his second favorite was Life Aquatic. I'm like, hell yeah, wow. I'm not alone.
Nice, yeah.
But yeah, because everyone I've talked to, they're like, oh, that one's weird.
There's people with good taste out there.
It just doesn't land as well as some other ones.
I can see that. I mean, I think the emotion in that one is actually pretty good.
When it comes.
It's a little zany, but like I feel like I don't know, it lands for me. Nice. Hits home. Yeah. So
I mean, if
that
you're
and the Darjeeling,
a humorous soul,
Bill Murray's the lead in that one too, and he kind of curtails it all around him.
And he's this pretentious, but it's like at the same time you're with him this whole movie, so it's kind of like
gotta do.
I gotta relate with this asshole, or but then Owen Wilson's there for the saving grace. I don't know. Anyway.
Check it out. I totally forgot Darjeeling Limited too, and that one might be.
That's a good one.
One that just like
that is a good one.
Slowly gets better.
That end sequence when they're throwing all their baggage. Yeah, and it's just like, all right,
I get it.
That was good. That was a good final sequence there.
Yeah. What we're saying is just watch Wes Anderson movies.
Yeah,
like they're good.
Yeah. Think about them.
Yeah.
They'll surprise you how good they are.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think if you want.
Yeah.
Appreciate the feedback.